Hello, welcome to Cerulean Arts Gallery. Tonight we're speaking with Dora Ficher in conjunction with her Cerulean Collective Exhibition, which is on now through March 10th. Hello, Dora.
Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Good to see you. So,
Nice to see you.
spotlight Tina's camera. So tell us, please, about yourself and the show.
So I was born in Argentina, went to art school in Argentina, but I've been living here for a long time. And but a lot of my art is, it's based on my childhood and things that I remember when I go that I see in Argentina. I was just there for 5 weeks a few months ago, and I just take a lot of pictures and things that I like to do and paint from my home country.
And you work in encaustic a
I
lot.
work in encaustic a lot, and encaustic monotype. This is an encaustic monotype which works, instead of me working directly on the paper, I work on a metal, which is heated by 4 light bulbs, 100 watts light bulbs. So I draw everything on the metal. There's a name for it, but I can't remember right now. And then I make a print. So maybe the first part. Then I keep going and make all of these were made like that. So I might put the paper on the metal like 3 or 4 or 5 times, depending. I do each color separately.
And the
I guess
colors,
sometimes I do it together, but I'm sorry.
and the colors suspended in wax.
Yes, it's all in wax, and I love to do layers. So you can see, like this one, you can see the layers behind it, and it's a fun process. I really like it.
So how do you start? I mean, do you have a plan for the finished piece or do you work
No,
as you go?
usually I work very intuitively. I just, you know, put down. I love this, has a lot of happy accidents. So, a lot of times you don't know how it's going to turn out, because when you put the paper down, depending how the heat is, it might run a little bit. It's really how it comes out. I don't see, you can see those houses. Sometimes I draw things, but I don't plan it ahead of time. I just love to see what happens.
So in between
And
layers, you evaluate and then decide
mhm,
what to do next.
right, right. And I did like the circles there, and that's how they came out. And this I was doing like a forest and some trees. And yeah, I did it in several layers, and I just try out and go as you know, as as I go. Do it as I go. It's not with this, I don't plan too much. Unless I'm doing like the poppies and that. So I know that I'm going to do poppies. I just don't know um, if the colors will mix a little bit or what would happen. Sometimes because of the heat, they melt a little bit, so they might mix with the other color. So I just know I'm going to do poppies, and I do them, but I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. And I like that. It's just like I said, happy accidents, a lot of them.
So how did you get into encaustic?
I've been doing encaustic for about 12 years, and I love it. I just saw it once online, and I just thought it was just so wonderful, because I love um, transparency. You can see in this one the transparency. Um, this one is called Not Always Black or White. I had a whole series of them. Um, so I just love the transparency. I love that you can do layers. I love that you can do collage. I love, and I know you can do them with acrylics and that, but I love the smell of the wax. I love the, you can use it a little bit as sculpting also, because I put it on and then I peel back to see what's in the background. And so I started taking lessons and I just fell in love with it. I can't do it that much anymore because all the work is standing and it's, I'm getting a little old and the standing is not great for me.
Mhm.
So, but I'll do it when I can.
Mhm.
This one is from a series, an immigration series, and it's called Journey. And it's just from memories that I had when I first came to the United States when I was a child, the first time we came, because then we went back. And arriving with the boat, the first port that we arrived to, where we got off, the first thing I saw was New Orleans. That's where we got off. And that's what I remember in my memories. So I did a lot of collage with wood. That's one of the other good things about encaustic. You can just with a wax, um, you can collage it, and sometimes I put nails on it. It depends. I've tried all kinds of things.
And so to work with the wax, you have to heat it up and then
Right. I
mix
I
the.
have I have griddles. I You have to keep it at around 200 to 10, not more than that, because you don't want, it can cause fumes. But if you're at 200 to 10, it's great. And so it comes in like a solid block of color. It's pigmented wax.
Mhm.
And yeah, I melt it. And if you go to my website, there's one part that, it says what is encaustic, and it will tell you everything about it
Oh, okay.
and how I used it. This is also these two here from the black and white series, which I did a while ago. And it was fun. I was gonna only do black and white, but I couldn't. And so I had to put a little color. I love color. I love shapes. And so I put a little color in each one. It just black and white wasn't doing it for me.
And you mentioned in your statement that you use a grid a lot as a starting point.
I do. I do. It just settles my mind. Um I'm a little ADD, so I could be going all over the place, but with a grid, then I know what I'm doing. And especially those kind of paintings there, I love to do shapes and squares, and that's from a series called Back to the Light, right after the pandemic. And it's, yeah, I love to do the grid. It settles me. Wow, look how the colors change a little bit as you focused in. Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And so do you think
And
your color sense comes from growing up in Argentina or?
I think so. And traveling a lot to Mexico and other Hispanic countries that are very colorful. The houses are colorful. And I always loved color since I was little, and bright colors. And this is another one from the immigration series, which is called, oh my goodness,
From the book.
from the boat, right. When we were on the boat, when we came here, we came by boat. And we stopped in many different ports. And it was a boat that it was half um, cargo and half uh, for people, for passengers.
Mm-hmm.
So we stopped in a lot of places, which was great because I got to visit lots of places. And this one is like what I saw. I used to go and just look at the water, and I would see so many different colors in the water.
So a lot of your subjects come from your memory.
Yes, they do. But also I use photos sometimes. This I didn't have. This is like when I was 10, 12. I don't know which trip this was, because we went and came back. We came here, then we went back by boat, then we came again by boat. And that was the mid 60s. And so I was older. But this one is my hometown. And you can see a mate with it, which is something that we drink there. It's like gourd, and you put, it looks like tea, but it's a little more bitter. Some people like it with sugar, and you drink it with a kind of straw that has little holes in the bottom so that tea doesn't come up. And it's very popular. People carry around their thermos with that, and anywhere they go. And there's other things that are collage here. There's a map. There's different things from my country. I just find encaustic very, there's so many things you can do with it. So that, oh, well, this one is another one from Back to the Light, again, with shapes, which I love shapes. And there's some colors that I love to use together. And purple, yeah, I love turquoise. That's I use it in like all my paintings. And then I love purple with turquoise, purple with green. And I just, really have a lot of fun doing it. That's why I like just seeing what happens. This one I kind of planned. These are acrylics. That's my dad with his violin. I shouldn't put my hands there, probably. My dad with his violin. This is after he passed away. I did a whole lot of paintings with him up in, flying up there. And he was a scientist, but that's not what he really wanted to do. He was a musician. But my grandfather was a musician, and he said, but you have to get another degree before you do your music because it's very hard. And he did, and he retired as soon as he was 62 and continued with his music.
So I guess
And here, what?
He was sympathetic to your desire to be an artist.
Very. And also to my son, who was studying pre-law, and he majored in political science at Penn. And he had talks with my dad, and in his junior year, I think, junior or senior, he had a car accident. And then he was talking with my dad, and he decided his minor was fine arts. And he's a photographer in New York who is doing really, really well.
Wow, how about that? So he switched gears.
Instead of, yeah, because that's what he really wanted. But he said, well, I'm a lawyer, I can make money, but it didn't work out. He's doing great with his photography. He's a commercial photographer. This is more from the music series, and in both the acrylics and also here, I have collaged in music that was my dad's because he also composed, and my grandfather was a composer. He was very well known in Argentina. He came from Russia to Argentina, and he picked there because it said it had the most music houses or something. I forget the name in English. Conservatories.
Oh,
And so that's why he went in 1922. That's why he went to Argentina. And so I have a lot of their books of music that he wrote, music that they played. And I love to collage all that.
are you musical?
Well, I love music. I studied piano since I was 5 till I was 11, but I had my grandmother was my teacher for part of the time, and others, it was different than now. I had to practice for 1 hour every day. And my dad was so musical that he could be in the shower, and if he heard that I played a wrong note, he would yell from there. So it just it wasn't very fun.
Mhm.
So neither me or my sisters, we all liked it, but it was very stressful. It's not how the kids play now.
Uh-huh.
But now I wish I would have kept going, but I didn't. I guess I can pick it up anytime. These are also monotypes. And then I put some medium, encaustic medium on top. It gives it a little more layers or more texture. And I was trying out different brushes I had directly on the metal. And then I used charcoal also here. I was making marks. But again, it's the paper that I put it. It's a monotype, it's called. They're encaustic monotypes. So they're one of a kind, but done in that way. And the same thing with these other two. I also studied violin. He had me with my grandfather since I was 4. And I was 4. And, this little violin, which I still have. And because my son used it in school when he was little. But, they would get mad if I didn't play right. I was too little. It's.
Yeah, I
And
guess.
my mom, who was a psychologist, always said to my dad, if I would have known better, because she was going to school when I was little, if I would have known better, I wouldn't have let them study the way they did
Yeah.
with all that pressure. But, that's how they did it. I'm talking about I was born in 51, so long time ago. But it was fun, I guess.
Yeah, well, you forged your own artistic path.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been studying art since I was a child, with an aunt in Argentina who was a painter and with oil. So but that I loved. She was wonderful. And she was a well-known artist in Argentina, just wonderful. And I loved it and always loved it.
Well, it's nice to have an artistic fan.
Yeah, it is. It is. Do you play instruments?
Well, let's see. I played the trumpet in high
In
school,
school.
elementary school, high school, but not for a long time.
Right.
Yep, I sort of, had to choose, I guess.
Right, right. Yeah. Well, but you're an artist, a painter, so that's good.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Dora. It's a wonderful show.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for having me. And thank you for doing such a great job with curating and putting everything up. I just love how you guys do everything.
Well, thanks again, and have a great night.
You as well.